My phone is shaking. Hey everybody, it's Doom here from Dungeons and Doom Biscuit. We're in the 3.5 Monster Manual, and the entry today is Ghost. And we got a theme here that things are kind of wavy and they're pale. Dungeon swag sticker bookmark. How nice. Okay. So, to get started, grab a derpy hero click, because they're about the cheapest thing you can get for a proxy anymore. And snip that base right off of it. And take any super glue, or hot glue I should say, off of your scissors, snippers. Alright, find your guy wherever he lands, and get your base. I don't like these little round pegs on here, so I'm going to snip those off for me. If you like them, you leave them. They do give you a better bond, but they're doofy. Nice. Okay. Base. Stupid glue. Spoon. Baking soda. Boop. Ghost. Well, future ghost. Glue on the feetsies. Get him on a base. Nice. Stay there, my friend. We'll need you there for quite a while yet. While he's staying there, let's get a couple rocks and decorate up the base. Going into my small rock bin. These small rocks are little. Let's throw 2 on there and get fancy. Sorry, I'm in a weird mood. I just recovered from being kind of sick, but I'm still pretty sore. But don't worry, I got my full work weekend like I had anticipated. Alright. Now, how sturdy is he at this point? I'm not feeling super confident there, so I am going to get a tiny bit of baking soda, and I'm going to drop it right in against his feet. Like that. And I'm going to get a toothpick to push it into place. I have to get a new... Oh, there's my gross one up here. I like to reuse toothpicks as much as possible. So all I'm going to do is get that right up against that foot and get a couple more points of contact. Okay. And then I'm just going to dab a little more glue on there. And that's going to make sure that he is sturdy. Oops. Problems. 4 days. I'm having serious issues with my super glue not behaving. One day we're going to do a video about surface tension. Alright. Now we got some excess glue here, and I popped my damn rock off. Let me use my nice snippers with super glue. Alright, let's get a piece of fabric and dab away some of that excess glue, or this will never dry. And there goes my rock. It's now part of this shirt. Alright. Can we get that off there? And back onto this DAM and base. Come on, you. Nice. Will it stick now? Have I done something to offend you, Mr. Stone? Become one with the base. You bastard. Alright. I'm done playing with this rock. My hands are shaking, sorry. My blood sugar might be a little low. I'm old. It could be anything, really. It might have nothing to do with blood sugar. It might just be like some kind of you're an old man thing. Alright. Now that rock should be on there good. Let's try it. No, it's not. Okay, it's a defective rock. Alright. If it falls off at this point, we're just going to leave it. I save these. You never know what you might need them for. Could be a panel on a fortress someday. Who knows? Alright, let's look at Homeboy. He's going to be a ghost, and we need some wispy stuff. So the easiest way to do wispy stuff is with snot glue. So what I'm going to do is just get the tiniest dab and pull it up and then hold him upside down and let it dry. The fan is pulling it that way. We'll give it a moment to solidify and then just doink off that little extra and make little wisps. And you can do as many as you want, but you just got to be careful. And you got to do them kind of one at a time and hold it upside down, or you're going to get a mess. And if you use too much glue, especially on a glue gun that's only high temp, all right, if you pay attention here, if you use too much glue on a glue gun that only has high temp, doing more than one at a time is going to create big, massive glue globs that break your heart and soul. So don't break your heart and soul. Okay? Now, I don't want to over wisp him. But I do want to wisp him. Alright, that's a fancy 2 at a time one. It could have been a mistake. We'll see in a moment. Yeah, it might have been a mistake. Alright. So we got a couple wisps. I think I'd like to do one more on his head. Okay. Clean up your wisps that have too much wispiness. Do not use the spiderweb removal tool, or the lesser burning hands, as I've been calling it, I think. Okay. All right. Talking to myself. Nice. All right. Okay. Now, my thought of ghost would be like to make like a cloth hood, like maybe cut a head off and put a cloth hood over where the head would be and leave it open and give it like that. Oh, shit. Flying miniature, help, help. Give it that Nazgul look. But the book's idea of what a ghost looks like and mine are not the same, so today, we'll let the reference art take agency, but normally, you know how I am. I just got to do my thing. All right, so let's look here. We got some wisps. Now we need to base coat him. So, all right, here's the deal. You can either base coat him in white and use speed paints. I wouldn't do like a zenithal or a speed paint prime. I would just do it white and use speed paints. I'd probably use like a gray and a medium gray blue. Or you can do what I'm going to do. So usually I do this in 2 parts, but because this is a quick one, we're going to do it in 1 part. And you've seen me do this before. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit him with a black rattle can, real light, to get a good bonding surface. And then we're just going to base coat him pavement and go from there. All right. Wipe off my rattle can nozzle. So again, I didn't even hit every spot with him. I just needed enough prime on him to hold paint. So the paint sticks to the model well. Plus 2 hot air gun of burning. Crappy brush. Crappy brush is your friend. And pavement. Pavement is my favorite paint. It is from cheap Apple Barrel Walmart paint, and it is a phenomenal color that is easy to blend and work with. The consistency is not always the same. Sometimes you do have to thin it down, but a lot of times it's close enough that when you want to use it, you can just add a little bit of water on your brush, and it'll carry you through small jobs like this, okay? Now, obviously, for you guys that are new, I will tell you, I tend to use a lot of Army Painter products. Sometimes, especially on really low resolution, quick ones like this, where I'm showing you how to get a ghost out of this 3.5 onto your on your table from the monster manual, we're going with the cheapest most readily available material, and generally it's going to be Walmart paint. Now, when it comes to this particular color, I don't care how nice a miniature is. I base coat my stones in this. I am in love with this color. Because I do for that, I call it fantasy realism. It's just that right mixes of grays and browns that make things look the way that you expect them to look in a cartoon or in a fairy tale book. And that level of realism provides as much as is needed for normal game top experience. If you do all your generic stuff in that fantasy realism, that way it kind of works as a go-between. So when you have really realistic stuff or really cartoony stuff, depending on if you bought something or were gifted something or made something that didn't go as you planned, you're still covered, and the majority of your stuff being this fantasy realism will bridge that gap. Because what you're really trying to do is not create the exact world they're in every time. You're trying to create a sense of they are somewhere else. You're trying to create the fact that they're somewhere that is fantastic and not necessarily real, but there are enough real elements there. I talk about this a lot. So, ghost. I'm going to make my ghost be in a cave. You can do yours outside. If you want to do outside, you're going to get some burnt umber or another dark brown and hit that base up with it. But that is not my intent. Though, you know what? That wouldn't be bad. Yeah, we can do that. We can do ours outside. I used the hot setting, and my little sticky uppy parts got melted down some. Make sure you're smarter than me when you get to this part. I'm going to get a cheap brush. Burnt umber. This is Dollar Tree paint. Or not Dollar Tree, Walmart paint. Hey, Walmart. I hate you, but I love your cheap paint. So I'm going to go and I'm going to miss his feet. And I'm going to miss my rocks, since they're already the right color I want them to be. And I'm going to hit the top part of the base. Now, if you're new and you're wondering why I use baking soda to do the base, well, this dude is roughly 29 millimeters tall. About an inch. If you hold a piece of dirt up to you and a piece of dirt up to a miniature, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, dirt's enormous. And it's going to be the same thing with the sand from the beach, which I do use for stuff, don't get me wrong. Or play sand that you buy, which I've used to. But scale-wise, baking soda, as long as you're not leaving it white, looks more consistent to the size it needs to be. It's just like using real small stones looks way better than breaking up certain items that some people use, like foam and stuff. Now, I will say there are some people that do a really good job with foam stones, and the Debo Gara cork stones. It's not the first time I've seen cork stones, but he does a great job with it. He has like this way he pulls them apart that it's just like a technique that makes it look super organic and nice. But everybody has their own things. Speaking of other YouTubers, I met some phenomenal YouTubers in Ohio yesterday. The first group was actually a gaming store that I was in, looking for cool buys and a set of dice that I might not own or my wife might not own. And I found a place called Immortal Inc. And I'll put a link to their YouTube in this video if I can figure out how. And they are super cool. I met the owner. He was a really just rad dude. I had a good time talking to him. I didn't get to talk to him much, but I'm going to go see him next week. And he was super cool. And then I met a dude named Shark Collects. Well, his name was Mike, and both of them are veterans, military veterans. And both of them just seemed like super great guys, and they're both content creators. So we all changed, content creator information, as I guess one does. I don't know. I don't know if that's the thing that happens or not, but we sure did. And it was cool. And so if you want to check them out for me, I would really appreciate it. Shark Collects. Mike, his channel is like game cards and stuff. Like, I think he opens them or something, maybe. I'm not sure. Or reviews them. And Immortal Inc. does a lot of different stuff. They have, like, reviews of old RPGs and little skits, and it's just silly and fun. I watched one today and spit coffee out laughing. So they're just very, very different types of channels, but they're both worth checking out. Because they're regular dudes like me and you and dudettes. They're not dudettes, but Some of you are dudettes, and you're regular dudettes, I hope. I don't know what that even means anymore, but... So check them out for me. And then I want to give a thumbs down. I did go to another game store, and I met a guy who kind of let me down with his opinion on DMing. But we won't bring them up. They didn't have a YouTube channel, I don't think. When I'm out of town, I hit up different game stores. That's kind of what I do. That's how I met those of you that watched it. We met. I was just checking out game stores. Sorry, I had to blow my nose. Ugh. All right. So we got a good gray base coat on him. We got a good foundation for our base. Let's get a piece of cardboard. If I can find my knife, we'll use this one. Okay. Sorry, I just came into town. I didn't check to see if I had any pre-cut cardboard and stuff. Usually I have a good bit cut up laying around in piles. But I did a minor straighten up right before I left. All right. Cheap makeup brush, Dollar Tree, your mama. And we're going to get a medium gray. And we're going to do a breakup coat. This is not a dry brush. This is not painting him fully. This is just giving some variation to his undertones. So we don't want this to be super dry. And we don't want to hit every spot. And this is like one of the easiest, basest, like simplest ways to add variation and realism to a model is to bust up the base coat, especially for something that is not going to be wearing different colored clothes or something that is like wild in nature that is going to be very plain colored. That variation is going to give it more to look at as you move forward. Next step, a light gray, but we're not cleaning our brush out. We're going to leave that in. Now check this out. This is pretty much a dry brush now. But since we didn't really dry the coat before this, it will drag some of that around. Alright? Now after this, we're going to hit it with the +2 hot air gun of burning, and you're going to see significant change. But in this one, you're going to see some smearing between the first two coats that are not all the way dry after we did that variation with the medium gray. Okay? Now, the book ghosts are just kind of gray and white. What I would like to do with my ghosts is I would like to do like a gray and a with a little bit of blue in it. So that's what I'm going to start doing right now. So I have that. I'm going to get this really light colored blue I was using the other day. I think it's called China blue or something. Sky blue. I'm just going to get a dab of that off to the side. Still got that other gray in my brush. Okay. A little bit of a bluish tint. Just a little bit above a dry brush. Hit him with a +2 hot air gun of burning. On light. Okay. Now let's really focus up on some features like his face. And his hair. Hit the clothing and shoulders. Any kind of detail that existed on the model or that we added with the glue. We want to hit that really good. And then ignore some of the more boring spots and leave them how they are, kind of. So he's got a little bit of detail on his boots that looks cool right there. We're just going to snag that. We want to focus on the cool parts and ignore the other parts. Okay. Now, in the reference art we're using from the book, it seemed like the Sorcerer Ghost's clothes had color and the Rogue Ghost was just all white. I think the safe answer is that their clothes don't actually retain color unless they put on clothes as a ghost. So I'm going to ignore that. And I'm going to come back here. I got my blue. And now I'm going to use some white. Don't run ghosts boring. When you're running ghosts in your game, have a story that created the ghost that is either, one, so long ago that it has no impact on anything going on now, which makes it seem like the ghost is pointless, but there's still a real threat. Or two, make the ghost recent, maybe the person that made the ghost exist, or the incident that made the ghost exist, still is around, and the party has some chance to, I don't know, save that ghost. But whatever you choose, make sure that there's something that they can do just besides fighting a ghost. They don't understand why it exists, or ghosts, they don't understand why they exist, with no method forward besides extinction. Ghosts are a good way to tell history of the area you're in, to bring up backstory for characters, to introduce NPC situations or political or religious situations. They are so much more than an ethereal mob. They're not dumb, though they can be, and give people a chance to learn with your ghosts. Don't make it automatically go to a brawl. Maybe the ghosts try to speak with your party. Maybe the ghosts can't speak or make any audible noises, and they approach your party and start doing weird stuff. Take advantage of that stuff. Oh, he's starting to look ghosty. He's a ghosty. Okay. Last little bit of blue. One more little bit of white. Bring this down. Move this off. +2 hot air gun to burning. Okay. And remember, this is super white with a little tiny bit of blue in it. Face, head, shoulders, tops of the arms. A little bit on his chest. A little bit on his thighs. There's our ghost. So let's fix that base up now. We have some mistakes that were made where we got dry brush on it. And to fix that, I'm just going to get this melted chocolate color and dab the spots where I lighten things up too much on the base. Okay, right there. I'm just dabbing those and then dragging my brush around so it doesn't look like a brush stroke. That's all I'm doing there. And that's how you're going to fix a lot of mistakes, is just dragging a brush around with a color trying to make it work. Now for those rocks, we mostly hit the spots that we had lightened up with our pewter. So we're going to come back with the pewter, and it's okay that we have a little bit of brown on our brush. It's not going to hurt this paint job immensely. And we're just going to kind of darken those up a little bit, like that. Okay. All right. Get a lighter gray. This is called elephant gray. But before you do this part, +2 hot air gun to burning. Didn't clean out my brush. That's okay. Get a little bit of that elephant gray. Wipe it off. Almost to a dry brush. Doesn't have to be quite a dry brush, but almost to a dry brush. And then just kind of drag it across the most biggest parts and create some variation. Just put that brush in your water. You're done with your brushes. Let's get a toothpick and some glue. I'm using clear glue. You use what you like. Clear glue will give you better results, in my opinion. It seems like the clear glue plus the flock plus the matte varnish or the matte clear coat give me good results where the flock doesn't ever come loose. So that's how I do it. You do it how you want. Experiment with what works for you. Somebody wrote in a comment they're learning to paint from my videos. I am probably not the best place to learn how to paint. I'm a very lazy painter these days. I've become kind of critical of people overpainting, unless you're painting for competition or something. But it seems like everybody is turning painting into something that's no longer fun. It is now an obstruction to fun. It is now a gateway to having a good game. And I'm not saying that's true for everybody, but I'm seeing it more and more, and I want to discourage it. So we got our clear glue. Oh, I just got a bunch of gross shit in my flock. All right, a little bit of flock. Flock for you. Tap down some of the spots if you want. You don't have to. Dump your flock back in. Blow it off. Pardon me. coughing up a storm here. All right. So let's see. That's what we came up with for our ghost. He's white. He's ghosty. He's got some wisps. Let's reach into the 3.5 monster manual and look at their ghost. It's white. There's wisps. It's ghosty. There you go. All right. So I'm Doom. This has been the Dungeons and Doom Biscuits YouTube channel. I will try to put the links to those channels I was talking about in the description. I would definitely check them both out. Even if you don't like the content, the people are good people, so give them a couple of views to help them out. And I really appreciate it. Please like, subscribe, comment, share. I made a video today. Notification bell icon. Check out our website, buy some minis, and come join our Discord and hang out with us. We're going to do a live paint sometime this week. I'll be posting that in Discord, and I will be running an adventure. So, hey, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. And the entry is ghoul.